Before modern religion defined belief, before temples of stone and books of law, humanity lived in a different relationship with existence. This relationship was not based on obedience. It was based on awareness. This was paganism. Paganism was not one religion. It was thousands of traditions spread across continents and centuries. Yet they shared one essential understanding. The sacred was not far away. It was here. The pagan did not separate the physical from the spiritual. There was no division between the world and the divine. The divine was the world. When they stood in a forest, they did not see wood and leaves. They saw presence. When they watched fire, they did not see chemical reaction. They saw transformation. Fire consumed, but it also gave warmth. It destroyed, but it also renewed. Fire was not just an element, it was a teacher. The same was true for water. Water flowed endlessly, adapting to every form. It could be gentle as rain or powerful enough to shape mountains. To the pagan, water represented both life and eternity. The rivers were not resources, they were living forces. The earth itself was not an object. It was a mother. From the earth came food, shelter, and life itself. And to the earth, everything returned. This created a spiritual understanding that life was not linear, it was cyclical. Birth, growth, death, and rebirth were not separate events. They were phases of the same eternal process. Death was not feared as an absolute ending. It was understood as a transition, just as winter was not the end of life, but preparation for spring. This acceptance gave pagan spirituality a calm strength. There was less fear of punishment and more focus on harmony. Harmony with nature, harmony with the self, harmony with the unseen forces that shaped reality. The pagan did not see humanity as rulers of the earth. Humanity was part of the earth, not above it, not separate from it. This understanding created respect. Animals were not inferior beings. They were fellow participants in existence. Many pagan traditions believed animals carried wisdom humans had forgotten. Wolves represented instinct, eagles represented vision, serpents represented transformation. Even the stars were not distant objects. They were guides. The night sky was a map of meaning. The movements of the sun and moon marked time, seasons, and spiritual cycles. The rising sun symbolized rebirth. The setting sun symbolized rest and return. Nothing was permanent. Everything moved. This movement was sacred. There was no single authority controlling belief, no single book defining truth. Spirituality was experienced directly, through silence, through ritual, through observation. Rituals were not empty traditions. They were ways to align human awareness with natural forces. Lighting a fire, standing in water, watching the sunrise. These acts were not symbolic. They were participatory. The pagan did not worship nature as something separate. They participated in it. This created a deep sense of belonging. Humans were not alone in a dead universe. They were alive inside a living one. Over time, organized religions replaced many pagan traditions. New systems introduced rules, structures, and centralized authority. Nature became less sacred and more controlled. But the ancient awareness never fully disappeared. Even today, when a person feels peace in a forest, when the sound of rain creates calm, when the stars awaken a sense of wonder, this is not new. This is memory, a memory older than civilization. Paganism was not primitive ignorance. It was a different way of knowing. Not through domination, but through connection. Not through control, but through participation. It was spirituality without walls,